In this week's Muscle of the Week, I kind of went off script a little bit and started talking about cartilage, specifically in the shoulder, better known as the labrum. What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Matt Maggio, creator of the Peak Method and founder of the Soft Tissue Revolution, and I'm on a mission to make chronic injuries obsolete by helping people that are injured and in pain get access to quality, hands-on, soft tissue treatment. Clearly the best type of treatment in the entire world. So in the early part of the post, I talked about the labrum and the cartilage, how you get problems from it, things that can cause issues with it. But the labrum is so important. You know, a lot of times people get diagnosed, and I always call this like a nonsense diagnosis of shoulder impingement. What that does is it doesn't really tell us anything. It just means that something's getting caught. And what's getting caught is usually the labrum in the shoulder. So this is looking at the shoulder from the front and then looking at the shoulder from the back. Where the labrum kind of sits in between is between the head of the humerus and right through the scapula. And the labrum is a really good shock absorber. That's what the cartilage is supposed to do. But what happens over time with a lot of trauma, overuse, repetitive use, poor postures is all the muscles in the rotator cuff develop a lot of scar tissue. Now, when that scar tissue happens, it causes two big problems in the muscles. It makes them weaker, it makes them less flexible, and puts more pressure on the joint. So the four most common areas to get scar tissue in the shoulder mostly are going to be on the back part here on the infraspinatus, and I've covered that in some other Muscle of the Week videos. You can get a little bit on the teres minor as well out there. Not as common, but mostly going to find it in that infraspinatus. Definitely going to find a lot of scar tissue in the subscap in the front. And another area where you're going to find a lot of scar tissue is actually on the joint capsule that kind of surrounds the entire shoulder. That develops a lot of scar tissue too, just from bad mechanics, overuse. So what happens when you get this scar tissue is it puts more pressure on that cartilage and in that shoulder. So what happens is normally when your shoulder moves, it wants to move nice and easy and kind of just get cushioned in there. But when you have a lot of scar tissue, you have to put more wear and tear and force into the muscle. So now it starts to jam into itself like that. And over time, what it does is it puts more pressure on the labrum, and the labrum is like a moon-like shaped piece of cartilage, and it starts to fray. And that's where you get that tearing, you get that impingement type of feel as you go in there. So a lot of times people that have labrum issues, specifically in clients, is they're going to tell you they're going to have problems maybe putting their seatbelt on, reaching for things up in the cupboard, reaching behind, especially in female clients, like putting their bra strap on, or even just laying on it. They get a lot of pain in there as well. And what happens is a lot of people get diagnosed with impingement, but it's really coming from that cartilage itself. Another test that I do is I have people bring their arms straight up just like this a couple times. And usually when there's a labrum, it's kind of got like this painful arc where it doesn't feel good. And you'll see the client go, ooh, I don't like that. And a lot of times they're going to get some pain deep into the shoulder. They might even describe it as like a popping or clicking. So what happens is when people get a diagnosis of a labrum problem, they usually end up at the orthopedic surgeon. And the problem with that is that labrum is happening because other things aren't working. So if they go in and do surgery on the shoulder and fix the labrum, they never fix the problem that was happening in the first place. This is why labrum surgeries don't really do well. And sometimes they can be a death sentence for athletes, especially overhead or baseball players, because it doesn't heal right. The other problem with the cartilage is it doesn't get really good blood flow and oxygen, so it doesn't heal correctly. So what to do when you have a client that has a labrum issue? First off, be able to figure out that they have that. And I have a free training where I talk about how to figure out exactly what the problem is. The link is down below. You can get on there and grab that free training where it really gets you to think critically, ask the right questions, and figure out what the problem is going on, because you can't fix a problem if you don't know what it is in the first place. But think of the labrum as somebody's thumb, and it's stuck inside a car door. The car door is all that scar tissue. You can't give the thumb or the labrum a chance to heal until you remove that scar tissue. So basically what I do when I have a labrum problem and I know what's in there, I start by getting in there and cleaning up the rotator cuff. There's usually a ton of scar tissue, as I said, in the infraspinatus, in the joint capsule, in the subscap, and getting in there, cleaning that up, getting that scar tissue out of there, then we start to balance that strength. But knowing that you have a labrum problem in there can really make a big difference, because I call it the great mimicker of a lot of shoulder problems in the shoulder. Knowing what's wrong with your client will really set you apart so you can do the right type of treatment, because there's a lot of people walking around out there that haven't been properly diagnosed. They don't know what's going on. And if you can fix their problem, solve their problem, and let them know what it is, you're going to be in a whole different level compared to everybody else out there. So that's all I got on the video for this week. I appreciate you guys watching the video. If it helped, drop a comment, like, or share. If you want to get our free training, click the link down below. If you have any topics or specific muscles you want me to talk about, send me a message. I'm always here to help, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.